I am very much happy to meet you all in this fine occasion. And this is the second time I come to Bangalore. And the thought is regarding to self-realization. We have to share our ideas. Actually, the self-realization is the core of the spiritual world. If you realize yourself, you need not attain anything, because the self-realization is the beginning and end to the spiritual world. But in reality, if anybody asks, who are you? What will be our answer? We will answer that I am so and so, I am my body, I am in the birth, I am having such kind of birth, I am such kind of profession, I am having some occupation, name, I have some relatives, power, position, and so on. We reply like that. We mean we are our body, we mean we are our mind. But actually, are we our body, are we our mind? So it is the ordinary people who say like that. But in the spiritual world, the answer would be, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are the pure Atma, you are the pure self. That you have to realize for yourself. Even though you know your body, you are the mind, that is not the real fact. You have to know you are the absolute reality, you are the Atman, you are the self, you are pure consciousness. So that is the only answer given by the scriptures, saints and everybody. That is the only answer. That is the only remedy given by each and everybody. But if anybody asks, who are you? Can we say, I am Atman, I am the self? Do you have the confidence to say like that? Yes, I am the Atman, I am the self. Can we have the confidence? Why? Because it is said, the self, the Atman alone is real. Every other thing is illusion, every other thing is false. But even though it is real and truth, why should not we have the confidence? Why do you do not have the confidence that we are Atman, we are the self? What is the reason? Because it is a fact, it is a truth. Anybody says, all the saints says, it is the absolute truth that you are Atman. The reality is, yourself is Atman. But we do not know the reality. If anything is real, this must be clear. Why you should hide itself behind some other thing? Why it is not evident? You all know the great saint Ramana Maharishi. If anybody goes to Ramana Maharishi and asks their problem, Swami, I have many problems, I have many worries, my family is having so many problems, in my profession, in my family, I have so many problems. What is the remedy? What is the remedy for our suffering? But the Ramana Maharishi's only answer is that you have to realize that you are the Atma, you are the self. He simply says, Atma Sakshatkar alone will cure all your problem. If you do not know the Atma Sakshatkar, if you are unable to have the Atma Sakshatkar, you cannot be free from your worries. So the remedy for all your worries and all your problems is to know that you are Atma, you are self. You must have Atma Sakshatkar. The Atma Sakshatkar alone clears all your problems. So whatever may be the question, the question may be related to his family or other problem, whatever may be the problem. His only answer is that you have to realize yourself, you have to question yourself, who am I? And find out that you are the Atman, you are the self. How can we know we are the self? How can we know that we are the Atman? In the scriptures alone says, we are Atman. The saints alone say, you are Atman. But in our day-to-day life, we do not know what is Atman. We know our body, we know our mind. We do not know the whereabouts of the Atma. We do not know the whereabouts of the self. The scriptures alone says you are Atman. The saints alone say you are Atman. But it is not our actual fact. The actual fact is our mind. It is we are our mind, we are our body. That is your knowing. We are knowing that we are having some body, we are having body, we are having mind. That is the natural fact. The scripture alone says you are Atman. The saints alone say you are Atman. So how can we know we are Atman? How can we know the scriptures are correct? The words of the saints are correct? And the scriptures says the quality of Atman. What is the quality of Atman? What is the quality of the self? You may read Bagavath Gita and some other scriptures. The scripture says the Atma is pure. We cannot cut Atma, we cannot burn, we cannot drench. It is beyond our. We cannot drench it through water, we cannot destroy it through fire, we cannot cut it. There is no birth, there is no death to Atma. Atma is eternal, Atma is pure. The scripture says like that. But do you know, is there anything within ourselves which is birthless and deathless, that cannot be touched by fire or water? So, how can we know, is there any Atma, is there any self? And if you know anything, if you understand anything, if you feel anything, we can know anything through our senses. We can feel anything, we can understand anything, we can know anything, we can feel anything only through our five senses of our body. We have mind. We can know anything through our intellect and mind. We have the two items, the true process of knowing. Only through senses, only through our mind. The two ways alone we can know anything, we can understand anything, we can feel anything. We can see, hear, or sense through our sensation, through our sensitivity. That alone we can know anything. Can we know the Atman? Can we know the self through our senses, through our sensitivity? The scripture says we cannot know. We cannot know Atman, we cannot know the self through your senses. Can we know the self? Can we know the Atman through our mind? No, you cannot know your Atma. You cannot know yourself through your mind. But we have the two items, the two tools, the two apparatus alone we are having. The two apparatus is useless to know the Atma. The two apparatus is useless to understand what is self, what is Atma. Then how can we know we are Atma? How can we know we are self? So in these circumstances, one person, when Ramana Maharishi says like that, you have to know you are Atma, you have to have Atma Sachatkar. Only one person alone asks some clarification of the Atma Sachatkar. Can we know Atma with Pratyaksha Bhava? Can we know the Atma through Pratyaksha? Can we know as we know anything? Can we know just like can we know the Atma? Just like as I see other person, just I see as other object. Can we know the Atman like that? Then only Ramana Maharishi have a different kind of stand. Take different kind of stand. We cannot know Atma. We cannot know self. We cannot know Atma through Pratyaksha Bhava. Only by dissolving our ignorance alone, we can know Atma. So in the first time, he says, in the first instance, he says like that, as if we can know Atma and self as positively. And afterwards, he speaks negatively. Only through removing the ignorance, only through removing the illusion, then alone we can know Atma. So he takes the different kind of stand. He changes his stand. So why he takes such kind of different kind of stand? Can we know Atma positively? Can we feel Atma directly? The scriptures alone says we are having Atma. And if you ask the scripture, well, how can we know we are Atma? How can we know we are self? We are the pure self. And what would be the answer of this scripture? Is there any way shown by the scripture how to know, how to realize Atma? And the scriptures point out a way how to realize Atma. You have to know Atma, you have to know self only through Atma. Atma can be known only through Atma alone. You have to know the self only through self. Self alone can know the self. Atma alone can know the Atma. So is it possible? But the scripture says like that. But the scripture is not joking. The scripture is seriously says like that. You take an example. Someone of our family, some member of our family has gone and he has not returned for several days. We have searched him here and there for several days and we cannot find out him. And at last we decided to complain in the police station and complain in the police officer, complain to the police station and complain to the police officer that somebody of my family member lost for several days and he has not returned. Please find out him. We requested the police officer. And the police officer inquired us. Which is the lost place? Which is the place the person who has gone away? Which is the lost place he has gone to? What is the place the person who has missed? Gone to that place. Is there anybody who knows where is their lost place? What is the lost place? The person who has missed away has gone. Is there anybody knows the detail? And we told him only one person alone knows the detail. And he asked, who is that person? The person who has gone away is that person. Because he himself knows where is the last place he has gone. So in that circumstances, in that way, the scripture simply says that the Atma alone knows the Atma. The self alone knows the self. So the total subject is irrelevant. So when it is not possible for ourselves, but it is not possible to know the self through our mind, not possible to know through our mind, through our body or senses, then what is the use of knowing the self? What is the use of understanding the self, understanding the Atma? But the scriptures are not speaking lie. It has to be explained like that. So that is the nature of that. It is 10% correct, even though it is humorous and in a different way, it is 10% correct. It has to be explained like that. For example, we are having body. We know, we feel that we are having body. We have the sensitivity that we are having the body. The total body is sensitive. One day we are having fever, high degree of fever. 103, 104, 105, we have a fever, strong fever, and the whole body is feverish and sensitive, painful. And we take medicine or take some other process and get relieved from the fever. But after the relief from the fever, can we feel the body? Can we know the body? When the fever is high, when the total body is feverish, total body is painful. So after the fever has gone, we are free from the fever. We are recovered from the fever. So in that condition, in the healthy condition of our body, can we feel the body? Can we know the body? We can simply say, I am knowing the body, I am feeling the body, I feel I am having the body. We can easily say like that. But you can say, you can verify. You cannot feel any part of your body. Even though the total body is sensitive, you cannot feel any part of the body. Even the tip of the finger you cannot feel. Even though it is sensitive, the basic nature of our sensitivity is insensitivity. That is the nature of the sensitivity. So if you know here, we have to touch here. If I touch here, I can know the feeling of this part. Otherwise, we cannot know the hand, we cannot know the... So if we want to know, if we feel the tip of the finger, we have to concentrate, I have to vibrate through our concentration, then only we can feel the vibration of here. Otherwise, I cannot feel any part of the body. Even though the total body is sensitivity, even the total body is sensitive, we cannot feel the body itself. That is the nature of the consciousness. The consciousness is the real thing. The consciousness is the only real thing. But the basic structure of the consciousness is in the form of unconsciousness. So what we feel is only the expression of consciousness. Nobody can know the real state of consciousness. The real state of consciousness is in the form of unconsciousness. What we know, what we feel is only the expression of consciousness. We know the expression of sensitivity. The real sensitivity, insensitivity. The real consciousness is in the form of unconsciousness. That is the nature of thing. It is said the self is prajnana, prajnai. The Brahman, prajnanam Brahman. The Brahman is in the form of prajna. It is in the form of consciousness. But really, in the basic structure of our consciousness, even it is in the self, even it is Atma, even it is Brahma, everything. The real state of consciousness is in the form of unconsciousness. So now we cannot know it, we cannot feel it. So what we feel is only the expression of consciousness. The base of everything is unconscious. We know, we feel only the expression of consciousness. We feel the expression of the base. We feel, we conscious of something. But what we conscious of something, what we feel is only the expression of consciousness. But all expression is momentary. Everything comes and goes, everything comes and goes. Because it is only the expression. The expression cannot last very long. It comes and goes. That is the nature of the expression. But the real state of consciousness is timeless. It is beyond birth and death. But we cannot measure it, we cannot feel it. But it is safe and secure, it is pure. There is no problem in the consciousness. There is no problem in the self. There is no problem in the Atma. So where we are having problem? But we feel we are having problem. Where is the problem? The Atma is pure, the Brahman is pure, the self is pure. And if you know Brahman, every problem will be solved. If you know Atma, every problem will be solved. If you take the stand like that, how can we know we are Atma? How can we know we are self? It is impossible. Nobody can know, nobody can feel the self. So it cannot be the answer for our problem. The knowing the self, knowing the Atma is not the answer for our problem. So we have to know the real function of our problem. If you understand the function of our problem, if you understand the function of our mind, then only we can solve the problem. So all the problem is in our mind. All the problem is in the expression of the consciousness. All the problems is in the intellect. So we have to approach the problem in a different dimension. If you take the stand, if you know Atma, if you know the self, all the problem will be solved. It cannot be possible because it is impossible to know the self. It is impossible to know the Atma. It is impossible to know the Brahman. But we can know the expression. We can know the functioning of our mind. So that is possible. So if you search, if you feel anything, if you discuss anything, if you understand anything in the problem, in the area of the problem, we can solve the problem. Otherwise, the salvation is not possible. The remedy is not possible. So what is the functioning of our mind? What is the happening of our mind? What is the formation of our mind? What is mind? We know we are having mind. We know, we feel, we understand anything through our mind. Each and every day we are having the mind, we are using the mind. So what is mind? The mind is a kind of consciousness. It is a kind of expression in the form of consciousness. But it is not conscious alone. Some intellect is there. It is the combination of consciousness and intellect. It joins together as mind. And there is a story in Yoga Vasistham. Somebody of you may know the story of that. And there was some war between the Asuras and Devas. The Asuras on one part, the evil force, that is Asura, and the good force is the Deva, the angels and devils. And for the help of the Asura, the Guru of Asura produced a special kind of demon through some sacrifice, some sacred fire. She produced a special kind of demon to attack the Devas, created by the Guru of the Asura. And it is said, the demon cannot be conquered, they cannot be destroyed by anyone. It is said like that. So the Deva, even though how much they try to conquer the demon, they cannot succeed. The reason for the failure is that the demon has no mind. It is a mindless creature, a mindless demon. So how can we conquer the demon? And the Devas asked the help of the Vishnu, and Vishnu asked them to fight the demon, but don't fight seriously and fight and pretend to be having the fight and you return back. You do like that for 3 or 4 days, 4 times. So in this way, all the Devas fight against the demon, the mindless demon, and returned and escaped. They have done it for 3 times or 4 times. And afterwards, after the 5th time, and the Vishnu says, now you can fight with the demon. And if you can fight and you can destroy the demon. So what is the secret? So when we fight with the demon for 3 times, it creates a memory. It creates a memory in the mind, in the demon. And the memory creates the mind. For the 3 times, the happening creates a memory structure in the demon and creates the mind. So the consciousness, everybody is having consciousness. Nobody is free from consciousness. Nobody can be free from consciousness. Consciousness is everywhere. So the memory, there is no memory in the demon. And when they fight for 3 times, it creates a memory pattern in the structure of the demon and creates a mind. So when the demon gets the mind, it becomes powerless. So the Devas fight straightly and destroyed the demon itself. So that is the formation of our mind. Our memory pattern and our consciousness join together as the mind. So the mind is nothing but our consciousness and memory. That is our mind. But it creates all the problem. So what is the problem? The combination of the memory and consciousness creates all the problem. So how can we free from the problem? How can we free from the clutches of the mind? So if you know the function of our mind, we can be very easily free from the problem of our mind. The freeing from the problem of mind, free from the problem of mind is the liberation. If we free from the problem of our mind, we can feel we are liberated, we are enlightened. But we cannot say, I know I am Atma, I know I am Brahman. That is impossible, that is not possible. Nobody can know like that, nobody can feel like that. For word's sake, we can say like that. But it is impossible, nobody can know like that, nobody can feel like that. But if you feel, we can free from the problem of our mind. If you disregard the problem of our mind, if you release the problems of our mind, then only we can know, we can feel we are liberated. We can feel we are enlightened. So all the problem is only in our mind. So how can we free from the problem of our mind? We know the consciousness and memory is the structure, is the formation of our mind. But where the problem happens, how the problem happens? We know we are having mind. We do not know we are having Atma, we do not know we are having self, but we all know we are having mind. That is the open fact. We cannot say I have no mind. Just we know, everybody knows we are having mind. Everybody knows we are having problem. That we will all know, we are conscious of our problem. We are conscious of our mind. That is a day-to-day fact. So what is the functioning of our mind? What is the happening? What is the problem? What is the structure of our problem? Our mind is functioning in two ways. Our mind is functioning in two ways. The one is the happening of the mind. The another one is the doing of our mind. The one is unconscious happening of our mind. The other one is the conscious doing of our mind. We are doing many things consciously. But many things happens unconsciously. The unconscious happening of our mind and the conscious doing of our mind. That is the two functioning, that is the two aspect of our mind. This is almost, it is begin to be the night. From the morning till the night, from the time you wake up from the bed until you reach here, throughout the day, you might have several kind of feelings, several kind of thoughts in your mind. From the morning till the evening, you yourself have experienced many kind of feelings, many kind of thoughts. How many thoughts, how many feelings you have created? How many thoughts and how many feelings happens on its own? 99% of your feelings, 99% of your thoughts happens on its own. Only 1% of the thing you created for yourself. You can decide, you can think, you can decide for something, you can work for something. And most of the things happen on its own. We have several kind of feelings. Fear, sorrow, anger. There are many kind of feelings. Can you create any feeling on your own? Fear. Can you create fear? Can you create sorrow? Can you consciously create any feeling? If you act in a cinema, the director may say, you express some sorrow in your face, you express some anger, you express some fear. You can try to have some feeling, you can show some feeling in your face. But it is just an act. It is not a real feeling. So whatever be the feeling, whatever be the thought, happens naturally, happens unconsciously. That is the natural part. It happens naturally. That is the one part of our feeling. One part of our mind. The other part that we are doing, we are using our mind, we think, we consciously think, we consciously exercise our mind, we consciously work out, and we do something. That is the other part of our mind. That we do consciously. A student studies his lesson, work out his problems. An industrialist work out all his problems. He creates, he develops. He works through his mind. He plans, he executes. He consciously do. That is the other part of our mind. But here, where is the problem? The conscious expression of our mind, the conscious action of our mind, try to control the unconscious part of our mind. That is the problem. The unconscious happening happens on its own. But our conscious mind wants to control the unconscious happening of our mind. It wants to be free from sorrow. It wants to be free from fear. It wants to be free from anger. But we have not created anger, we have not created fear, we have not created the sorrow. But anyhow, we want to be free from that. As if we are creating that. So that is the problem. But anyhow, we feel the problem. We feel there is some problem. If we free from sorrow, if we free from anger, if we free from fear, sorrow, suffering, everything, we will be alright, we will be happy. But how can we bring all these things? How can we have the control over the unconscious happening? And one time, somebody asked me, I have a problem. It is very easy for me to get angry, and it is very hard to control the anger. It is very difficult to control anger. Getting angry is very easy, but controlling anger is very hard. And I humorously asked him, so you need not worry about the anger, you need not try to control the anger because it is very hard, it is very difficult to control anger. You yourself say it is very easy to be angry. And be angry from the morning till evening, be in the angry position, be with the anger. Be with the anger from the morning till evening. Can you be with the anger? So then only we know it is impossible. The very nature of everything, it is just like a burst of some cracker. Each and every experience formed unconsciously, anger, sorrow, suffering, everything. Whatever happens, it comes from the unconscious part of our mind, and it has some expression. It expresses like an explosion. As the explosive substance, it bursts away. We know the burst. The burst of our feeling, that is our experience. That is our feeling. Moment by moment, we know something, we feel something. It is a feeling, it is a burst of feeling. It is an explosion. And it explodes and disappears. The life duration of each and every feeling, each and every experience is only a fraction of a second. It disappears on its own. We have no business to control any feeling. It comes and goes on its own. But we try to control. It is already going. It is already disappearing. But we are not satisfied with that. We want to have control over that. But if you know, if you understand, we have no business, we have no control over the happening of the unconscious, happening of our mind, what happens? Because we think if you do something, then only we know we keep everything under our control. But it is impossible. If you understand, it is impossible to have the unconscious part under our control. We can never try. So what we have to understand, that our conscious part has no control over the unconscious part. So that we are consciously know, because we have the power, we have the examination, we have the intellect. The unconscious part will not operate. The unconscious part cannot discuss, cannot evaluate anything. It is a happening. There is no intellect. We cannot discuss the unconscious part through our intellect. We cannot discuss the intellect part alone. The intellect part can alone discuss its own state. It can discuss, it can understand, it can feel, it can understand and come to a conclusion. That is capable. The intellect part alone is capable. The unconscious part is not capable of discussion. So the intellect part alone having the option to discuss, option to discern something, option to inquire. And through our inquiry, through our finding, we have to come to a conclusion that we have no business to control the unconscious part. So if you come to the simple conclusion, we have no business to control over the unconscious part. The unconscious part becomes set right on its own. Because it cannot last for more than a fraction of a second. It disappears moment by moment. Only because of our interruption, we make the problem in a worse condition. Several years ago, I have seen a television program telecasting for the students how to light a candle. The lighting of the candle, they are explaining the lighting of a candle. And one person is lighting a candle through matchbox, so through matches. And they try to light the candle, and they'll through the matches light the wick of the candle. They have to use one. They try to throw one matches, and it is unable to lit the candle, and use another matchstick to lit the candle. And it takes 2 matchsticks to lit a candle. Then only the wick of the candle gets fire. So after lighting the candle begins to burn. It creates a flame. And after some time you burn out, you put off the flame. And after put off the flame, second time you try to lit the candle through matchstick. But in the second time, when we reach the very near to the candle, it gets flame. They ask what is the reason. In the first time, it is very difficult to set the fire. But after second time, when we go very near to the candle, it gets the flame. The reason they are saying, actually the flame of the candle is not burning only through the wick of the candle. Some vapor has formed through the candle, and the flame is fired only through the vapor of the candle. So even though put out the flame, the vapor is still remaining. So if you reach the vapor through the matchstick, it gets fire once again. You need not reach the wick of the candle itself. So in the same way, even though all the feelings gone away, even though it is a burst, even each and every feeling has a burst, is an explosion, even though it is gone away, it has some residue. It has some remissions. And we think something is existing. We mistakenly feel the feeling has not gone. For example, the fan is moving, it is functioning. We put off the switch. Even though we put off the switch, the current has been tripped. Even though current has been put away, the fan is running for some more time. It will automatically come to a stop. But anyhow, we think it is not stopping. We put on the switch. It gets running. So in this way, we are interrupting our feelings as if it is existing. Actually, all our feelings are ending for every moment. It is a momentary one. It's an each and every fraction of second, it comes and disappears. We need not worry about the disappearance of our feeling. But we want to have control over the feeling. Then only we try to regulate the feeling. Thereby we interfere the feeling. Thereby we give life to the feeling. Otherwise all our feelings will go away. So that is the freedom of our feeling. That is the appearance and disappearance of feeling. Actually, the appearance and disappearance of our feeling is the liberation of our mind. The liberation of our mind is always in our mind. It is the natural happening of our mind. We need not worry about the liberation of our mind. It is the nature of our mind. No feeling can stay there. No feeling can stay more than it cannot live more than a fraction of a second. Each and every moment, it is just like a river. It is just like a flow of river. So that is the freedom of our mind. That is the liberation of our mind. The liberation of our mind is our natural state. But only because of our wrong idea, we are interrupting the flow of our feeling. Some river is flowing. If you interrupt the flow of our river with our hand, what will happen? The water will encircle the hand. Some flow will form. Some circle will form. So it is unnecessary interruption. Only through our conscious interruption, we are disrupting the natural flow of our mind. Otherwise, the natural appearance and disappearance of our feeling is the nature of our mind. We need not worry about that. So our conscious mind has to understand that we have no duty to interrupt the unconscious happening of our mind. That is the conscious understanding. If you understand, the understanding is enough. Because the very understanding will operate. That means you are not disturbing yourself. Actually, our mind, even though we are dividing for the explanation, you are dividing into two. Actually, our mind is one. When we want to understand, when we want to control one part of our mind, we divide the mind into two. We want to try to control the other part of our mind. So it is just like trying to see the back of our body. Is it impossible? Nobody can look the back of your body. You can take round and round. How many rounds you can take, you can never see the back of your body. So in the same way, if you try to control the other part of your mind, it is just like a self-contradiction. It is a struggle within ourselves. It is impossible. But if you give up your struggle, if you feel the foolishness of our effort, then we are not struggling with the other part of our mind. So the total part of our mind, the total mind becomes one. The total mind becomes one. The total mind is a flowing mind. The total mind is a liberating mind. So only thing, if you want to have something concrete, something definite, then we are struggling. Actually, what we feel is already over. What we feel, all the feelings is just like an explosion and explode and gone away. You may know the lightning, thunder. In our life, often we see the thunder. In the first instance of a thunder, we have the flashlight of the lightning. That alone we can know. A few seconds later alone, we hear the noise of the thunder. Some gap will be there. So most of the people will be afraid. They will not afraid of the lightning. They will afraid of only of the noise of the thunder alone. But we can understand that if you hear the noise of the thunder will never burn up, never fall upon our head. Because it is already over. The thunder is already over when the lightning happenings. In the happening of the lightning itself, the thunder is over. It is only the noise is only the after effect. When the noise is happening, when we are hearing, the thunder is already gone away. It is already over. But in the night, in the open sky, you can see many kind of stars. Several stars we can see. We can easily see many stars and enjoy the beauty of the stars. There is no difficulties of seeing the stars. But if you show the stars to the scientists, they will get confused. Because they say that the light from the star, it reaches, it will take years and years. The light reaches after many years. It takes many years of time. When we see the stars here, the stars may not be there. It may be the light happens 1 year before that, or several years maybe before that. But we see the stars within our open eyes, we are seeing the stars. But actually, the stars may not be there. That is a science. So in the same way, even though we feel we are having some feeling, it is not actually there. It is the disappearance. It is the expression of disappearance. But we are trying to conquer the feeling which is already disappeared. So if you understand it is waste of energy to control the feeling which is not actually there, it is just like a waste of energy, and understand this understanding is enough. When the conscious part of our mind understand we have no duty to control over the unconscious part of our mind, the conscious part becomes liberated. The unconscious part is always liberated. There is no problem in the unconscious part. Only the conscious part alone creates the problem. The conscious part understand we have no business to deal with the unconscious part, and it keeps silent. The unconscious part will happen automatically, and it happens, and it creates a good combination between the conscious part and unconscious part. The unconscious part becomes the natural flow of our mind, and the natural flow of our mind is just like an innocent child. You may know the innocent child happening, the expression of an innocent child. The child may express all kind of feelings, but it will not stick on to any feelings. All feeling may come, it will go. All feeling may come, it will go. It will not stick. It will not feel guilty of any of the feelings. That is the innocence of part of the child. That is the innocent state of the child. So in this way, the unconscious happening of our mind, if you do not ignore, if you do not struggle with the unconscious part of our mind, the total mind becomes innocent state of mind. But the conscious mind, that is the intellect part, becomes intelligent. If you do not struggle with the unconscious part, the conscious part becomes powerful. It has more energy because it is not wasting energy to deal with the unconscious part. It totally neglects the unconscious part, so it becomes intelligent, and the intelligent part can operate in the day-to-day life itself. So the day-to-day life becomes a blessed life. The day-to-day life is a good life. So the only thing the conscious mind has to understand that it has no business to deal with the unconscious part of its own mind. So then only the understanding operates. So the understanding that he has this incapability, the incapability of the conscious mind. So if it consciously know that, and if you satisfy with the knowing of the finding of the mind, everything is over. All the problem is over. The only problem is fighting about, it is only a self-contradiction. Otherwise, there is no problem.